Harry's Wife, Part 104.22, Cold, Malicious and Reckless. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I'm turning now to a different publication, the Steeple Times, which has a couple of articles/interviews with Samantha Markle, Harry's wife's estranged half-sister. Samantha Markle holds the position of non-intimate secondary source in Harry's wife's fuel matrix. This means that her fuel is of moderate potency. A family member is treated to the shelf dynamic, namely, when they come on the narcissist radar, they may be taken off the shelf for a certain period of time, half an hour telephone conversation, an hour back and forth texting, or meeting up for lunch, or getting together at a family gathering. It varies, and then they go back on the shelf. Being placed on the shelf is not necessarily a devaluing act. An individual can be placed on the shelf, either painted white, namely the interaction has naturally concluded and therefore it's been brought to an end, or painted black, where the narcissist ends the interaction, sometimes prematurely, and does so as a part of moving into a position of withdrawal from the non-intimate secondary source. Many people confuse being placed on the shelf with being disengaged from, and secondary sources are rarely disengaged from, but rather picked up and put back on that shelf as and when the narcissism dictates that it ought to happen. Sometimes people stay on the shelf for quite a long period of time, just giving comfort crumbs. The occasional, "we must catch up soon," or "got your messages, busy at the moment, we'll be in touch." And if you'd like to understand more about that shelving dynamic, I would direct you to go to the Knowledge Vault and obtain Shelf Life, Deciphering What is Going On, and Black or White on the Shelf. The Knowledge Vault details are in the video description. Hitherto, Samantha Markle found herself subjected to the shelf dynamic from Harry's wife. Latterly, she has been disengaged from, as there has been no actual direct contact between the two, occasioned by Harry's wife. She took the decision in order to assert control and, as a consequence of a disengagement trigger, namely, her half-sister essentially became too difficult to control, thus she was disengaged from. Her narcissism will have gauged that Samantha Markle was too difficult to control as a consequence of her repeated criticisms of Harry's wife in the media, in interviews and so forth. She was also vocal on Twitter, and it is to Twitter that we first go with regard to what the Steeple Times have to say vis-à-vis an interview with Samantha Markle. Samantha Markle, like her father, did not choose the glare of public spotlight. Forced into it courtesy of her heartless half-sister bagging Prince Harry in 2019, and then treating her like a pariah by this mendacious meddling actress turned international nuisance. Here is a lady who, like many, got quite disgracefully deplatformed by the woke wazzocks who formerly controlled Twitter. It won't take you long to get the flavour of where Steeple Times loyalties lie. Now, courtesy of Elon Musk taking ownership in the last week, the elder sibling of the Duchess of Sussex has been quite justifiably allowed to return to the medium. Asked of what she thought of joining Kanye West and getting back into the Twitter sphere, Ms. Markle, who submitted court filings earlier this month that suggested she'd had her life turned upside down by the royal sister's faithful fans and others, exclusively told the Steeple Times, "Thank you so much, Matthew. My dad is making good strides daily, and that's a blessing. Thank you for asking." Note that she's obviously referencing the fact that Thomas Markle Sr. has been unwell as of late. Not something, of course, that has caused any concern whatsoever for Harry's wife, because she has no emotional empathy, and even her cognitive empathy isn't moved to do anything in favour of her father. Indeed, ordinarily they might be seen to damage her facade, but the need for control over him and other members of the family outweighs the preservation of that facade. Therefore, she never bothers asking how he is, hasn't bothered to go and see him, and, as part of the assertion of control over him, has also disengaged from her father, another non-intimate secondary source casualty of her narcissism. Returning to the interview, Samantha Markle states, "I'm really happy to be on Twitter after being unjustly targeted and shut down by bots and trolls falsely reporting my account. Prior to that, I was hacked out of several accounts, so they tried to spin information to look like I was circumventing. Chris Boozy and Twitter trolls bragged and took credit for getting me shut down. The only time I was legitimately restricted on Twitter was for mentioning ivermectin, because I shared a medical article about it. Medical articles are not disinformation. I'm glad that Elon Musk is going to save free speech and turn Twitter into a greater platform than it has ever been. We can all have our opinions and disagree. Elon Musk wants to make it fair for both the right and the left equally. Differing opinions and controversy make people think and grow. If we all agreed, we would never grow. The free flow of information is critical to progress, and people should be allowed to process it independently rather than being censored or brainwashed. I believe that this will be a historically positive change for our social and economic world. That free flow of information being taken out of the hands of the radically oppressive left will allow us to thrive as a society and as an economy. I think it's going to be very exciting. I'd like to see Elon Musk buy Google." Somewhat controversially, before signing off, she said, "And let's not forget, Donald Trump is going to get the world back on the right track. Watch out, Harry's wife. Your sensible sister Samantha was never going to be silenced, and as much as you wish to spin out nonsense and spare, the world will be watching and waiting as you, yet again, bring shame on the hapless House of Sussex." There then follows some pictures with captions associated with it, explaining, "The half-sister of the Duchess of Sussex now has her account back. We urge readers to join us in following her as she takes on a sibling whose antics are quite frankly nothing other than noxious. The two sisters pictured together in happier times." This is Samantha's graduation picture. "How different things could have been if Prince Harry's wicked wife had simply included her birth family in the fold." Prince Harry's wife is attempting to block her half-sister from deposing him and her father Thomas in her defamation lawsuit. It was reported earlier this month. According to Hello, earlier this month, her legal team have requested a judge to stop the process of collecting and releasing evidence until a ruling on whether the lawsuit should be entirely thrown out. They argue that Harry's wife's statements about her relationship with Samantha are non-actionable opinion, that are also substantially true. A deposition of Mr. Markle at this juncture, along with other discovery, would be an unnecessary spectacle and a waste of the party's time, money and resources they're finally read via the relevant publication. Samantha Markle should not be permitted to force Harry's wife and potentially numerous non-parties to devote substantial resources to extraneous discovery, while a meritorious motion that could dispose of the entire case is pending the ongoing court battle, of course. Now, interestingly, what Samantha Markle has to say, you don't necessarily have to agree with her politics, but at least you can understand what she's saying. It's not deluged in word salad and beigeness like her half-sister. There then follows, in Steeple Times, an interesting summary stating what's the truth about the stories that abound about the Duchess of Sussex. In November 2021, the Duchess was forced to apologise to the appeal court in London for making a misleading statement in her privacy case against the Mail on Sunday's publishers. Her very own father, Thomas, has called out her many untruths about him and others again and again. Of her claiming to have got married the day before she actually did, Mr. Markle stated, "Lying about the Archbishop, how can you say? We'd been married 3 days before we got married. Her lies are so obvious, I don't know why she says them." Well, you, of course, all know the reason why she does tell those lies. Her very own half-sister Samantha, who's currently bringing a defamation case against her, has called her out as a liar on multiple occasions also. It has been shown that the Duchess's claim that she hasn't seen her sibling in over 20 years was proven untrue when a photo of the pair 13 years ago emerged. Her very own half-brother, Thomas Jr., said of her, "I told Prince Harry, I think she's going to ruin your life. She's very shallow. She's a phony, a bully, a jaded, shallow, conceited woman." The wife of Prince Harry has been called out on multiple occasions for spinning stories against other members of the royal family, most especially the Prince and Princess of Wales. Staff who've worked for her have complained that she's a bully, and investigations into this remain ongoing. The Duchess of Sussex is a known manipulator of the press and paparazzi, and it has been claimed that she'll twist the truth to get any headline she wants. Questions remain as to how many times she's been married in total. Some say twice, some say thrice. Did the Monty Shit Show meddler meet Prince Andrew or Prince Harry first? Rumours abound that she could have spent time and holidayed with Prince Andrew as long ago as 2001, and that her claim to have no prior knowledge of the royal family until 2016 is just utter baloney. A selection there of some of the allegations made against Harry's wife, but there is more with regard to the interview that she has provided to Steeple Times. Samantha Markle, the next article tells us, shares her thoughts on Prince Harry's tittle-tattling tome, Spare, with the Steeple Times. She slams it as likely cold, malicious and reckless, and wishes he'd spare us all the hypocritical pity party. In comments exclusively to the Steeple Times via email, Ms. Markle observed, "With regard to the book Spare, I have, like the rest of the planet, obviously not read it yet. But the idea that there was an alleged request or appeal for money between Harry and King Charles, and when King Charles turned him down, reportedly he said he would go ahead with the book, seems like extortion on the surface and blackmail. We can only hope that the book will not be slanderous and scandalous, but after everything that has transpired, it seems like such a cold, malicious and reckless disregard for his own family, especially the father who has given him everything. Just like my father gave my sister everything," corroboration of what Thomas Markle has stated previously and in particular in Tom Bower's Revenge, they seem to be two peas in a pod where using and disposing of others, when they don't get their way is concerned. Some people are not capable of empathy, remorse, shame, or gratitude. In all of the pictures that were salient in the media throughout his life, she continues, Harry never seemed to be unhappy as a member of the royal family, so his statement now does not intersect with visible evidence of a lifespan. Many around the world have noticed the same thing. It almost seems like grasping for straws as a coping strategy for the discomfort of being in denial. More than anything, what is glaring is that while he posits the idea of mental health as being so important, neither he nor my sister seem to have any regard for the mental health of their families and others whom they have stepped on. They preach about people's voices needing to be heard, but they don't care about the voices of those whom they have knowingly wronged. Their hypocrisy has been noted globally. Prince William has honoured the legacy of his mother beautifully and carried on with integrity and loyalty. He understands the concept of role models and the importance of family. Prince Harry, on the other hand, seems to use the victim card as a crutch for accountability and integrity in every area of his life. In my opinion, I like the title of the book only in that maybe he should use Spare Us All a Hypocritical Pity Party. Turning to her thoughts on the reaction to her interview yesterday with the Steeple Times, Ms. Markle concluded, "This was an excellent article, and I am so grateful to you for your objective, honest overview. Everyone else was afraid to tell the truth, and an attorney in London told me that there was an entrenched media agenda against me. PRs were being paid to write nasty articles about me, and every time I would speak the truth, it never got printed." Now, of course, if that is accurate, and it seems that it may well be, then, of course, what has happened is that each time Samantha Markle speaks out, it's a threat to Harry's wife's control, and therefore, utilising the PR dollars and PR pounds, there's a response whereby PRs were being paid to write nasty articles about her in order to discredit her, and thus nullify the threat to control that she posed. There then follows a series of photographs and captions which give an entertaining flavour of where the Steeple Times views matters, stating, "With his tackily titled book already in the half-price bargain basement bin, the Duke of Sussex will likely turn to the rotten weasel PR peddler Omid Scobie to help him flog a few extra copies." And there is a picture of the plastic face in Probably Name One. Next up comes Chris Boozy. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will no doubt also engage the vile-trashing troll Christopher Boozy also. He was quite rightly called out by Samantha Markle yesterday, and currently, very deservedly, also has legal troubles of his own. Another oddity the pair could turn to for assistance in PRing the pointless, pitiful buck is Marcus Anderson, a PR party or two at Soho House, perhaps. Accordingly, Mr. Steeples, that operates steepletimes.com, clearly is no favour whatsoever of, no friend or supporter of Harry's wife, and has given coverage to Samantha Markle to air her views about her half-sister as she returns to social media. It also provides an opportunity to explain to you the dynamic that takes place between a narcissist and a member of the family in terms of the shelving dynamic and the unusual occurrence of disengagement, which, as I say, is not that common when it comes to secondary sources. They are more usually treated with the shelving dynamic. And the reason that Harry's wife has done this with both her half-siblings and her father is that all three of them triggered disengagement. Namely, their activities were such that they were seen as increasingly too difficult to control, alongside exposure of Harry's wife with regard to what she's really like. And therefore, the narcissism determined, cut them adrift, cut them dead, have nothing more to do with them. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.